Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, so it's been a while now since I got into Eskimo Callboy, and not a day has gone by when I haven't had a request to do the We Butter the Bread with Butter version of it. So I'm going to check that out today. One thing I've heard about this is that it's heavy. I don't know how in what direction that's going to be, why it's going to be heavier. Is it going to be just more brutal riffs? Is it going to be heavy throughout? Is there going to be sort of no cheesy sort of dancey sort of, electronic section? Who knows? I guess we're about to find out. Let's jump straight in. All right. Eskimo Callboy versus We Butter the Bread with Butter. Wow. Holy shit. I mean, it's just full on. It's full on. There's nowhere to find any kind of, there's nowhere to hide from the brutal, which in and of itself is funny, because the other version had like so much, light and shade, and that made it funny. And so to parody that, they've just made the entire song just brutal. Hang on, let me go back. I'm just overwhelmed. And I love the way that they introduced like the two guys, from We Butter the Bread with Butter. And then, the Eskimo Callboy guys are just sort of like they're in the foreground, sort of checking in. It's really cool. That's a great brutal vocal. I love how the synth element's still there. Like, they haven't just completely reshuffled the deck. It's all the same, but they've changed that sort of dun, 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 sort of motif to like a, they've got it like arpeggiated or something like that, or gated, so that it's got, it sounds more aggressive. It sounds more like a guitar part from a deathcore song or something like that. And by gated, what I mean is that there's an effect you can use in the studio that will sort of cut up the sound as it's playing. Almost like if you can imagine if you've got a mute button that sort of mutes the track, and you robotically control that to open and close to whatever rhythm you like, or whatever at whatever tempo. So you can have a sound that would normally be duh, and it'll just be like duh, 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 duh. That's what a gate is. And you can hear that they've put that on the synth to make it sound more aggressive. Like, just if you listen. It's hugely common in like dance and techno and stuff like that. It just makes me laugh whenever I see there's a fire on the floor, and the face is like, there's a fire on the floor. It just doesn't look right. And you know what? It takes me back to Spirit Box too, because Courtney tends to do a lot of that in her music videos, where she's just serenely looking at the screen, but this banshee sort of wail is coming out of her body. It doesn't make sense. Oh, that was a great synth part. Hang on, let's go back. Very cool. dancing for you. Now, someone answered me in the comments, that sound there, was that what they call tunnel vocals? Because that seems to me what that sounds like it should be called. I've heard the term before and I just haven't been able to apply it to anything, but it's that sound. It sounds like it's resonating through like a cardboard tube, you know? And I'm assuming that's what oh, it's von Pulper. More brutal music should have polkas in the middle. I'm disturbed. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you're curious, that vocal synthesis, it can be done a number of different ways, the million different plugins. But essentially what it is it's just like they're synthetically doubling the note. It sounds like it might even be going through what's called a ring modulator, which basically takes all of the pitch out of it and just turns it into a single synthesized note that sort of has that artificial kind of ringing sound to it. And then it seems like it's maybe layered like harmonically and things like that. But it's a really cool little effect, actually. Definitely more at home in a song by a band like Aqua than this, but, you know, that's the beauty of this whole project. Oh, there's actually some really nice arpeggiated synth in the background there. Just see, you can hear it sort of swelling at the end of the vocals. It's sort of like a Fiat Punto. I love it how they switched it up to like almost like a happy hardcore kind of inspirational 90s techno sort of thing in the background there with like uplifting chords and sort of like that heightened angelic kind of synth sound as well. Jump back and check it out. Just changes the whole song. Come on. And somehow they've just taken into like Lorna Shore territory with that breakdown. Like, what is going on? What is going on? I don't understand. It's if only they used their powers for good instead of evil, or in this case, evil instead of good. There's so much here that's just drawn from so many other genres that I've come across in my short journey of, you know, this sort of music. But wow. Wow. Hang on, let me go back a little bit. I got to hear that filthy breakdown again. on, that groove. Oh, I just feel like these guys would be so much fun to hang out with. Oh my god. Come on, guys, be more brutal. I hope you sense the sarcasm in that last comment. Wow, we'll be right back. Okay, I think we can all agree that it's pretty fun when people make fun of the very serious business that is heavy metal. But you know what's not fun? When people make fun of the horrible color choices you make with your wardrobe because you're colorblind. Well, there's something you can do about it. You can click on the link in the description and it'll take you to the Enchroma website where you can get your eyes tested and find out what kind of color blindness you have. And while you're there, pick up some corrective lenses. They have styles of frames to suit everybody and all different lifestyles. And a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. You should try them out today. Use the code CHAOS in checkout to get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you. Okay, so Hypa. We butter the bread with Buttah versus Eskimo Callboy. Look, it's the same thing I keep saying with all of these parody songs. The reason this works is because they do such a great job of parodying the music in the style of the music. Like, this wouldn't work. It wouldn't be funny if they were attempting to recreate all of this stuff but not hitting the mark musically. These guys really know what they're doing. Like I said, if only they used their powers for evil instead of good, you know, you'd have a pretty intense deathcore band on your hands, you know. But sometimes people just can't take it seriously, and that's fantastic too. That's a valid choice. Satire is necessary, you know, holding up a mirror to society and critiquing it, particularly society that tends to take itself very seriously. You know, there's always room for that. So look, these guys are fantastic. I'm a big fan so far. And I just got to say, like, there's always room for this sort of stuff. Going back to, you know, Steel Panther, even like Weird Al. Weird Al was like the first guy in the zeitgeist to bring parodying very serious music, like pop music. And again, it always worked best with artists that were taken very seriously, you know. But, you know, it was... that back then, like nowadays with the YouTube culture and stuff like that, artists like, you know, the likes of Weird Al Yankovic are a dime a dozen, because everybody can sort of bring up a channel and, you know, make some parody songs, and not to diminish the amount of effort and talent that takes, right? It's actually very challenging, particularly if you're going to try and recreate the music at the same level as the original, but with just altered, you know, lyrics or, you know, a music video or whatever, which is where Weird Al shined. Like, he always was capable of producing or recreating the music very lovingly in order to make fun of it. And that's exactly what's going on here. But yeah, so in recent years with the advent of YouTube, everyone and their dog's been able to do that. And that's also fantastic. Again, not to diminish that. But it used to be culturally, there was Weird Al, and that's about it, you know. And that's sort of the same as in the music industry in general. Back in the old days, if you wanted to release an album, you had to have the funds and the backing to do it. You couldn't just do it. Now everybody's got a home studio. The amount of competition out there has blown up exponentially, which is interesting that these guys stand out the way they do, because there is a lot of competition in this satirical, you know, parody music market now. To find anybody who sort of stands out, particularly, I mean, the amount of requests I got from you guys to do these guys, as soon as I did Eskimo Callboy, it was always, now you've got to do these guys, which is super interesting to me, you know, because there is a lot of competition out there, but maybe not in this particular genre. Not a lot of metalcore or deathcore parody work going on. So they found themselves a tidy little niche. But yeah, look, honestly, I loved every part of it. I think, you know, it was very clever how they sort of worked around what Eskimo Callboy put down, to find room in their version to alter it. So they weren't just basically doing a piggybacking off that other song. They went for a completely different flavor. They took all of the parts that Eskimo Callboy had done and turned it on its head, and maybe, you know, made it a more brutal intro. And you sort of like leapfrogged the parts to sort of make it so that you weren't listening to the same thing just by a different band, you know. And every single part was flawlessly executed. You know, I love that they went for a more trancey techno kind of. It's almost like they went sort of more hardcore in the music, but also more hardcore in the techno world as well, to sort of make it slightly more askew, right? Like the reason the Eskimo Callboy version works is because it drops back to like pure pop dance sort of, you know, throughout those cheesy sort of parts. Whereas these guys took it to a more hardcore dance, rave party kind of flavor rather than like an Aqua Top 40 sort of thing. And I thought that was a really interesting choice as well. Like it all just fits. And these two songs work together beautifully for that reason, because they're texturally so different. Very, very cool. Yeah, that's about all I got to say, guys. But as usual, if you feel like I've brightened your day at all, please feel free to buy me a coffee. I'll put a link in the description. And, you know, we're still a small channel here, and you guys are part of the family. So if you haven't subscribed already, please click like and subscribe. Or if you have, share this with anyone you think might appreciate it. I appreciate it for sure. And yeah, but yeah, keep these sort of requests coming, guys. This was a lot of fun, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.